They threw y'all boys out today. We got how every mob must die.
Anastasia. On the morning of October 25th, 1957,
All I know
Lord
about is John
Anastasia
Guy.
walked into the barber shop of the Park Sheraton Hotel in Manhattan. He sat in the chair, but moments later, two masked men rushed inside. They pushed the barber aside and started
See, like
shooting.
that's the thing, bro. All these niggas be on camera. Like the bosses, bro. These niggas be known as hell. Why you going to a fucking barbershop, my nigga?
Confused, Anastasia jumped forward and tried to attack what he thought were his killers, but he was only striking at their reflections in the mirror. The gunman kept firing
God,
until he
boy, that
crashed
nigga
into
was
the
on
wall.
Anastasia
He
for
was one of
real.
the suspected Joe the Boss's shooters and the co-founder and leader of Murder Inc., the Mafia's group of killers. His nickname was the Lord High Executioner, and he controlled much of New York's waterfront and later became boss of what would be called the Gambino crime family. But he
Bro,
was
these
secretly
niggas only be in goddamn New York,
New York's waterfront and later became boss of what would be
Jersey.
called
Like,
the Gambino crime family. But he was
it's
seen as
no
a
way.
rising star.
It's no like. Am I tripping? Like, it's no way the cops can't just get all these niggas. Like, yeah, how y'all just be letting this shit happen?
Rumors spread that Anastasia was selling mafia memberships for money, and his large gambling debts made him seem even more unpredictable. Also, his allies, such as Vito Genovese, which we'll talk about later on, wanted his power. His underboss, Carlo Gambino, quietly joined Genovese, agreeing to take over once Anastasia was removed.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you.
Moved. That October morning in 1957, the plan was carried out. Joe the Boss. On April 15th, 1931, Giuseppe Massari.
Bro, I'm sorry. How are you getting drops in the 30s, bro? Like, I know now you can check a story or get their location. Like, it's no way y'all just knew this nigga was gonna be there at that exact time and he was actually there. Like, niggas, stop it. How did
Also
y'all,
known as
like,
Joe the
this
Boss,
shit been
sat
going
at the
on?
table in the Nuova Villa Tomorrow restaurant on Coney Island, playing cards. He was relaxed, not knowing that his own lieutenant, Lucky Luciano, had already made a secret deal with rival boss Salvatore Maranzano. During the card game, Luciano got up from the table, leaving Masseria alone, and moments later, gunmen rushed in and opened fire. Masseria was hit in the
They
head,
always had to have them top
chest,
hats
and
on.
collapsed over the table as the shooters fled. He was the boss of what would later be called
That's
the
how
Genovese.
backdoor this shit be like. I swear, every movie I seen with this shit, these niggas is so backdoor, bro. Like, I'm never sitting in no passenger seat, none of that, bro.
Crime family, and one of the most powerful figures in New York.
Like,
But
they
wanting
just
more
be
power,
waiting.
he created many enemies. By 1930, his drive to control the city had started the Castellammarese War, a bloody fight against Salvatore Maranzano and his allies. At first, most sided with Masseria, but as the war dragged on, his side took heavy losses, and Luciano saw his chance once Maranzano promised him a top position and control of rackets if he turned on Masseria. Even Joe Adonis, once close to Masseria.
Like, you see how this work? These two niggas set up a backdoor to kill one of them. Then they go into a war with another nigga. In the middle of the war, one of them is gonna he makes a deal to backdoor the nigga he backdoored the other nigga with. Like, bro,
Joined the plot and
these
secretly killed
Italians
Luciano
different.
when Masseria grew suspicious. Among the shooters that day were most likely some incredibly important names, like Albert Anastasia, Vito Genovese himself, and Bugsy Siegel. Outside, Ciro Terranova sat in the getaway car.
Bro, why these niggas look like this too?
Outside, Ciro
Like
Terranova sat in the
businessmen.
getaway car, but he was so shaken after the murder that Siegel reportedly had to push him aside to get them moving. Masseria's death ended the Castellammarese War and gave Maranzano the title of Capo dei Capi, the boss of bosses. But Luciano had bigger plans, and you'll see why now. Salvatore Maranzano. Just months after Joe the Boss's death and his victory in the
Like they thought
Castellammarese
like this
War,
in the 30s.
Salvatore Maranzano was in his Manhattan office inside the New York Central Building, where he had called Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese for a meeting. Secretly, Maranzano was planning to kill Luciano, but what he didn't know was that Luciano was already aware of the plan. Suddenly, four men disguised as tax agents entered the building, disarmed the guards, and rushed Maranzano. He was stabbed several times and then shot, dying in his office.
Bro, this lucky nigga is a triple cross. Did y'all hear what he just said? These two niggas just got done double crossing a nigga. So let's take it back to the beginning, bro. That nigga Lucky and some other nigga double crossed the nigga. The nigga he double crossed him with went them two went to war against this nigga. This nigga convinced Lucky to flip on his nigga. Then he just tried to flip on Lucky, and Lucky, bro, this man is that's a quadruple cross. If y'all ever think y'all smart, bro, just look at these niggas right here.
Afternoon. Why did he want to kill Luciano after he had switched to his side, betraying Joe the Boss, though? In the few months he ruled, Maranzano reorganized the Mafia, creating the 5 families of New York, each with its own boss, underboss, and soldiers. At the same time, though, the fact that he gave himself the title of boss of all bosses wasn't okay with Luciano and the younger guys, who thought Maranzano had old-fashioned ways, demanded money and respect from the others, and disliked Luciano's close ties with non-Italian gangsters like Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel. He even compared himself to Julius Caesar and talked about shaping the mafia like the Roman Empire. To men like Luciano, Genovese, and Costello, he seemed less like a leader and more like a dictator. By September, Maranzano suspected Luciano was turning against him, so he tried to act first. He hired the Irish gangster Mad Dog Call to kill Luciano, but Luciano knew about it and struck before him, sending in the disguised killers who ended Maranzano's life. With Maranzano gone, Luciano ended the idea of a single boss of bosses. We'll look later at the new system he created. Bugsy Siegel. On the night of June 20th, 1947, Benjamin Siegel, another one of the suspected shooters of Joe the Boss, was sitting on a sofa in Beverly Hills, reading the Los Angeles Times.
California, they do this shit in Cali.
Through the window from outside, hitting him in the face and chest. One shot destroyed his left eye instantly, and he died on the spot. At that point, he was one of the most famous mobsters in America, even seen as a celebrity. He was central to building Las Vegas, and he had taken charge of the Flamingo Las Vegas Casino Hotel project, which he financed with money from his mob partners. However, the project was a disaster. The casino opened before it was finished.
That's what I'm saying. Like when them black niggas gangbang, it's just no money. You hear the shit they talking about, bro? These niggas owning casinos.
In charge of the Flamingo Las Vegas Casino Hotel project, which he financed with money from his mob partners.
These the
However,
gangsters,
the
nigga.
project was a disaster. The casino opened before it was finished, lost huge amounts of money, and went over budget from an estimated cost of $1 million to $6 million. His mob partners believed he had stolen money or, at the very least, lost control of their investment. They lost patience, and behind the scenes, they decided Siegel had become too risky. Who gave the final order is still debated. Paul Castellano. On the evening of December 16th, 1985, outside
Damn,
Sparks
nigga, we
Steakhouse
jump
in
quick as
Manhattan,
hell.
Paul Castellano, the boss of the Gambino crime family, one of the most powerful mafia groups in America, stepped out of his car. Suddenly, gunmen rushed him and opened fire. He was hit several times before he could react, and his newly chosen underboss, Thomas Bilotti, who had been driving the car, was killed right beside him. Across the street, John Gotti, another well-known mafia guy, sat in a car, watching to make sure the killing was carried out.
You see how this shit go though? Like all this triple cross is crazy.
This is an interesting story. Castellano ran the family more like a businessman than a street gangster, but many of his men thought he was greedy and too detached from everyday street life. Resentment grew inside the family when he refused to allow drug dealing, which had been a big source of revenue. Then, the FBI bugged Castellano's mansion, leading to federal charges, and in December 1985, his longtime underboss Agnello Della Croce died. Castellano
That nigga looks like he done killed some people, bro. You see them eyes, bro? Oh, hell no.
His longtime underboss, Agnello Della Croce, died. Castellano didn't attend the wake, which angered the Manhattan faction. Soon after, he named Bilotti as the new underboss, a decision few respected. He also hinted that he might break up John Gotti's crew, which for Gotti meant that if he didn't act first, his own life and power were at risk. All of this led to Gotti's hit at Sparks Steakhouse, carried out in front of busy evening crowds. Only weeks.
So he was gonna kill him for dealing drugs. This nigga John Gotti killed him first. And that's the boss, bro.
Later, John Gotti became the new boss of the Gambino
And
family.
damn, so that's why niggas is overly glazing on some shit, John. Bro, that okay. That's a way to become boss, my nigga. The fuck?
This is one of the most recent ones we're going to talk about, as it happened on the night of March 13th, 2019. Gunshots
2019.
Staten Island Street, and Francesco Colli, known as Frankie Boy, collapsed in front of his home after being hit 10 times with a 9mm handgun. Security cameras later showed what happened. A pickup truck crashed into his parked Cadillac, making him come outside. Colli walked over to the driver, but things quickly went south. He tried to hide behind his car, but the shooter gave him no chance and opened fire. He had long been seen as one of the most important links between the American Mafia and organized crime in Sicily, being the boss of the Gambino family. The murder shocked New York, as no Mafia boss had been killed in the city since Paul Castellano in 1985.
So these niggas be knowing, like, what do you say, shock? They be knowing, like, oh, this nigga is a fucking, like, wait, what? He's telling, so why they ain't just arrest him?
Maybe a dispute within the
Been
family,
arrested.
but the truth was crazier than that. 3 days later, police arrested a 24-year-old man named Anthony Camello in New Jersey. He was deeply involved in QAnon conspiracy theories, and he claimed he thought Cali was part of the deep state and believed President Trump had given him support to make a citizen's arrest. Camello had even tried similar things before, like going after New York Mayor Bill de Blasio and Congresswoman Maxine Waters. When he appeared in court after the murder drawn on his hand, the case went on for years. Camello,
Fake ass drawings, bro. He just drew that shit on before the court case, bro.
In January 2025, it was revealed that he had pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sent to prison, but details of his sentence were kept secret because of threats against him and his family. Frank Costello. On the evening of May 2nd, 1957, Frank Costello stepped out of his car and walked into his Manhattan apartment building. As he crossed the lobby, though, a man approached and fired a shot. The bullet grazed his head and knocked him down, but he survived. The shooter was Vincent Gigante, acting on orders from Vito Genovese. Costello lived, but the message that his time as boss was finished was clear, with from Vito Genovese and knocked the building. As he crossed the lobby, though, a man approached and fired a shot. The bullet grazed his head and knocked him down, but
You that close and that shit grazed his head.
Acting on orders from
You don't need to be in no damn mafia, bro. Sit your big goofy ass down, silly ass nigga.
Within days, he stepped aside.
Raise, I understand from a distance.
Costello was a close ally of Lucky Luciano, Meyer Lansky, and Bugsy Siegel, building his wealth during Prohibition. And he became famous for mixing crime with politics, which is why he was nicknamed the Prime Minister of the Underworld. He influenced Tammany Hall politicians, judges, and police. His decline started in the 50s, when he was investigated during the Kefauver hearings, where millions saw him nervously fidgeting on live television. He was convicted of tax evasion and contempt of Congress, spending years in and
My
out.
nigga can't be nervous when it's a life sentence on his head.
Saw his chance. After retiring, he still held some influence with
half these bosses who's like, and you see this shit because it's like a cycle. These niggas is taking niggas out for the same shit they getting taken out for. Like
leaders like Carlo Gambino and Tommy Lucchese visiting him for advice. On February 18th, 1973, at the age of 82, he suffered a heart attack at home and died in a Manhattan hospital. Carlo Gambino. Gambino was one of the most important mob bosses of all time. Since after Albert Anastasia was murdered in 1957, he took control of the family that would forever carry his name. By the 1960s, he dominated the commission, guiding not just his own men, but much of the American mafia itself. Under his rule, the Gambino family became the largest of New York's 5 families, controlling ports, trucking, unions, and rackets at JFK Airport. Unlike flashier bosses, Gambino avoided attention and rarely saw prison. His only sentence was 22 months for tax evasion back in the 1930s. On October 15, 1976, the 74-year-old mob boss had spent the evening watching the New York Yankees win the American League pennant on TV. But hours later, the heart disease that had troubled him for years took his life. Instead of handing
that's a great way to die, nigga.
Della Croce, he chose his brother-in-law Paul Castellano as successor. That decision
He just looked like a little bitch.
set the stage for Castellano's assassination.
How you don't choose my nigga right here, gang? Like, who looks more scarier as the boss of the mafia? This nigga like a square ass businessman, like he own a fucking gas station or some shit. This nigga look like a badass one.
Della Croce, he chose his brother-in-law Paul Castellano as successor. That decision split the family and set the stage for Castellano's assassination, which we previously explained in 1985. John Gotti. After eliminating Castellano,
damn, how they kill my nigga Gotti?
The boss of the Gambino family and showed his peculiar personality. Unlike earlier bosses, he loved attention. He wore expensive suits, smiled for the cameras, and earned the nickname the Dapper Don. However, having a high profile comes with its risks, and the FBI started gathering evidence on him. In 1991, his underboss, Salvatore Sammy the Bull.
See, I want to gather evidence on this nigga, but y'all don't want to, like, y'all be letting these niggas do this shit. If you know that they a boss of a criminal, like, if they the boss of a criminal empire, nigga. You could have been took him down. It don't like get the fuck out of here. You arrest niggas for so much. Y'all niggas arrest niggas for broken tail lights and shit, but you let these niggas kill people all day.
Gravano turned on him, and his testimony
This shit
combined
is.
with
I
further
bet this shit's
reporting
still going
sealed Gotti's
too.
fate. In
My bad,
1992,
never
he was
going nowhere.
convicted of 5 murders, racketeering, loan sharking, tax evasion, and more. He was
FBI be
sentenced
having
to
their
life in
priorities
prison with
fucked
no
up, nigga.
chance of parole.
Even
He
Diddy, you
then
wanna fuck with
spent
Diddy, nigga. You
nearly
need to
all
be
of
worried
his
about
life
these
in
niggas.
isolation. By the late 1990s, his power was gone. His son and brother tried to run the family in his name, but prosecutions and informants crippled the Gambinos. At the same time, Gotti's health broke down. Cancer spread, and by 2002, he was too weak to fight it. At the age of 61 on June 10, 2002, he died from throat cancer. His funeral was pretty symbolic. About 300 people followed the procession, but no
Damn.
representatives from the other New York families came. The Gambino family he once ruled was divided and weakened, and many saw his death as the start of the Mafia's decline in America. Vito Genovese. In the late 1950s, Vito Genovese was at the top of the Mafia world. He had forced Frank Costello into retirement, ordered the killing of Albert
I bet he
Anastasia,
ain't never shot a
and took
gun
control
himself,
of the
just
most
giving all these
powerful
orders.
family in New York. In
Horny ass
1957,
nigga,
however,
bro.
when he organized the Appalachian Mafia Summit to confirm his authority, police raided the meeting, exposing the Mafia's existence to the public. Only 2 years later, in 1959, exposing the Mafia's existence to the public.
62, man.
Only 2 years later, in 1959, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison on narcotics charges. From inside Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, he tried to run the family, but his grip on power slipped away. He already had problems with the law back in 1937, when he faced murder charges and fled back to Italy. There, he openly supported Mussolini's fascist regime and built ties with government officials. It wasn't until after World War II that he would return to New York, cleared of charges after key witnesses turned up dead. Many believe that he was convicted through a setup by his
Bro, how
rivals.
long has this court shit been going? Like, how did they have court back then? Key witness. How do they even catch niggas? Like, how is they having court cases for whole murders and shit in the fucking 20s? What evidence do you have, my nigga? What technology do you have to even put evidence like talking about witnesses? Like, bro, that janky ass shit thing is, bro, for an alibi, you could literally just say I was anywhere. Like, you can't prove that shit. Weak ass court cases.
14th, 1969, at the Federal Prison Hospital in Springfield.
Yeah, these niggas knew when to do this little extortion bullshit. Cause it's like, bro, you can't get away with no shit like this nowadays.
Scarface made his name during Prohibition as the head of the Chicago outfit. He controlled illegal alcohol, gambling, and
Bro, look at these
prostitution
niggas.
as the head of the
Like they just act like they just look like they up to no good.
Chicago outfit. He controlled illegal alcohol, gambling, and prostitution. To the public, though, he was both a criminal and a kind of celebrity. Some people admired him for giving money to charities, while others saw the killings and corruption, especially after the St. Valentine's Day massacre in 1929, where they murdered 7 members and associates of Chicago's North Side gang. The government couldn't convict him for murders or bootlegging, but they finally charged him with tax evasion. In 1931, he was sentenced to 11
This
years.
tax shit's so stupid. Like, nigga, not him, but if I'm working for my money, bro, get like, how you gonna arrest me? Like, bro, that shit, you can't get him for no murders, nothing. So you gonna, man,
His
bro.
real punishment began. Capone had contracted syphilis years earlier, likely while visiting brothels, and he never treated it. By the time he was in prison, the disease had spread to his brain, causing neurosyphilis.
What even is these diseases like?
Spending his last year in Alcatraz's hospital ward before
Nigga,
being
body be
released
weak
in
as hell.
1939. He spent his final years in Florida, mentally broken. In 1946, doctors said his mind had declined to that of a 12-year-old child. On January 21st, 1947, at 48 years old, Al Capone collapsed after having a stroke, and at first it looked like he might have recovered, but then his
48.
condition got worse. He developed bronchopneumonia, and a few days later, on January 25th, weakened by all of these health issues, he died from a heart attack. Lucky Luciano. Luciano was probably the man who transformed the Mafia the most. After the Castellamarese War, instead of proclaiming himself the new boss of the bosses, he created the Commission, a council that allowed bosses from the 5 families of New York to settle disputes and share power. This was done to avoid wars, and it gave him the nickname of the father of the modern American Mafia. Also, unlike older
Long
bosses
ass
who wanted to
nickname.
keep things only Sicilian, Luciano believed in making alliances with anyone if it brought profit. However, power brought attention, because in 1936, prosecutor Thomas Dewey convicted him of running a prostitution racket, and Luciano was sentenced to 30 to 50 years in prison. Even behind bars, however, he stayed influential. During World War II, he made a secret deal with the U.S. Navy to help protect New York docks from Axis sabotage, and in return, his sentence was reduced in 1946, but only once he accepted deportation to Italy. From then on, he lived in Naples under close watch. He could no longer openly run the mafia in America, but he still held influence through his allies. In the 1940s, he briefly operated from Havana until U.S. pressure forced him back to Italy. Then, at Naples Airport on January
He just can't
26,
help it.
1962, he collapsed and died of a heart attack after he had just finished meeting with American film producer Martin Gush, who wanted to make a movie about his life. What Luciano didn't know was that Italian drug agents were following him that day, ready to arrest him on smuggling charges, but he died before they could act. Later, his body was flown to New York, where more than 2,000 mourners came to his burial in Queens. Carlo Gambino himself delivered his eulogy. If you liked this video, subscribe for similar ones or join my Discord to suggest another.
As always, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. More